What's up, guys? What's up? What's up? This is Untouchable Force. Now, last night I went to go see Clash of the Titans. I saw it on the midnight release because I was truly excited for the movie. So, my impressions on Clash of the Titans, the remake in 3D. You're following one of the biggest epics ever, and you're turning it into a modern day action flick. It's not working at all. It didn't work at all. It's right now after I finished watching the movie, it rang a bell in my head that this movie is literally a bite off of Transformers, except that instead of giant robots fighting, it's humans. My biggest gripe with the movie is that it's just that it's trying to be a movie that it isn't, and that's where it completely failed. It's not a bad movie at all. It's just the fact that they're trying to go for something they shouldn't have gone for, and they're trying to pick up a completely different audience. They're trying to pick up the audience that watches Transformers. They're trying to pick up the audience that watches 300. The Clash of the Titans remake was nowhere near as epic as it should have been. Nowhere near as epic. They're just completely getting rid of all the filler in movies and just jamming it with mindless action, which is it's not a bad thing if you're an action fan and you know the movie actually has some type of substance. But when you're following one of the greatest movies in history, you can't do that, man. You either stick to the script, you change a little bit around, but that's all it is. You change a little bit around, but you stick to the fucking script. Like, don't try and make it something it's not. And that's essentially what they did. They made the movie into something it completely wasn't. There's one scene in the movie, and I'll tell you this at the end of you know, my little impressions review, whatever the hell you want to call it. There's one scene in the movie that at that very moment that I heard Perseus say this was the moment that I vowed never to go see these Hollywood remakes in the theaters ever again. If you've seen the original Clash of the Titans, please don't stop the video. I don't remember exactly what he was trying to explain when he said this, but right before they were going to fight Medusa and they were outside of Medusa's lair, this dude says something along the lines of, "Let's kill this bitch." I was like, what? Are you kidding me? He just said that, and you know what's funny is that the theater didn't catch it. The theater did not realize they were watching a movie based on Greek mythology, and the main character just said bitch. Nobody in the theater caught it. I was like, what the fuck? Are you serious? I don't understand how that flying fuck do you get that green lighted to say bitch in a movie that's based on Greek mythology. If you have not seen the original, Clash of the Titans, do not go and see this one. The reason why is because you're gonna go and see this one and it's gonna fucking taint the shit out of the original. Don't go ruin your experience on a movie that shouldn't have been missed, on a movie that tries to emulate it and does a horrible job at doing it. Please watch the original first. Please watch the original first with no bias. Just go in and watch it. Realize what year it was made in. Give it credit for what it did at that time. You're gonna like it. There's absolutely no way why you wouldn't like it. The reason you won't like it, it's probably because of its age. That's probably the only reason you won't like it. But it's an awesome movie. It's just an awesome movie. Now, my fear is that most of these young kids or people who haven't seen the movie are gonna go to the theaters. They're gonna watch this one. They're gonna be with a friend that's already watched the movie, that's already watched the previous Clash of the Titans, and he's gonna tell him flat out, oh, he's disappointed. And what that's gonna do is gonna cause a chain reaction, and it's gonna make him have a biased look at watching the original Clash of the Titans. Even if his friend praises the original, when you look, when they, after they've seen the new rendition of Clash of the Titans, they're gonna watch the original and they're gonna be like, what the fuck, this shit is nowhere near as epic as the remake was. And that's gonna be their mindset. You're not gonna be able to change that. No, their mindset is gonna just be like, wait, what the fuck, are you seriously, you watch this? Like, that's gonna be their mindset. There's very few people that I can honestly say would watch this movie, watch the remake, and watch the original and like the original more. It's just not, it's not gonna happen. They're too used to these action-packed, no filler type of movies. It's gonna be extremely hard for you to like the original Clash of the Titans if you watch this shitty ass remake. And I'm gonna tell you straight up, the biggest problem it has going against it is that it was based on a movie that shouldn't have been touched in the first place. And on that subject matter, movies that should not be touched ever, they're out there, you know them, you've seen them, you love them. Do not fucking touch these movies. These are mine. Don't you ever put your fucking filthy hands near Scarface. Don't you ever fucking put your hands on Pulp Fiction. Nobody ever touched that. I honestly don't think so. I don't think anybody has the fucking balls to. But eventually, give it 40 years. I'll say 30, 40 years. Somebody's gonna fucking come up with the bright idea. Oh shit, let's fucking remake Scarface. Somebody's gonna come up with that stupid ass idea, and they're gonna get slapped across the face. I'm gonna keep it short. Last but not least, do not ever touch The Exorcist, because horror movies are the easiest ones to do. Why? Because they scared people in the beginning, and people are gonna figure, oh shit, they're remaking it, that means they're gonna make it more scary. That's fucking completely, totally wrong. That's nonsense. Still, in my opinion, and I know there's a lot of movie fans out there that are like, oh, but you gotta see this, you know, this indie flick or blah blah blah, it's super fucking scary. No, not at all. Exorcist is the number one horror movie of all time, and you're never gonna ever top that. There's no movie out there where you're gonna get the same responses as far as asking, you know, your asking relatives, oh, did you see The Exorcist? Everybody's gonna tell you they're fucking scared as shit about that movie. Like I was saying, do not remake these movies. They're not meant to be touched. Just do not touch them. That's it. Clash of the Titans, even though as a standalone movie, I say it would be pretty decent. As a remake, you're not cutting it, man. You're really not. So if I was to rate it, what I would go for is Clash of the Titans remake. If it was a standalone movie, I would give it a 7, which is not bad. And even though I've said so many bad things about it, you're probably gonna be like, why did you give it so high of a score? I was like, well, it's not a bad movie. That's the whole point. It's really not that bad of a movie, and it's kind of a little. I'll say it's a little biased only because it had that storyline that I knew and that I loved. So I'll give it a 7. Now, in terms of a remake, in terms of the fact that it was being remade and based on one of the greatest movies ever made, Clash of the Titans 3D gets a fucking 2. A 2 because they screwed up on way too many things. They try to make it into something it wasn't, and that's all it gets. It's a fucking 2. And if you want to know more, please put it in the comments, because I would fucking battle each fucking point you got against me to the fucking fullest. So that's essentially what it is. I know a lot of you are gonna want to watch the movie, but do not watch the movie if you have not seen the original. There was a couple scenes that I actually liked, to be honest. There was a couple of scenes that were pretty decent, but then they just got completely fucking shitted on by the scenes that I thought weren't cool. And that's it. Untouchable Force. Peace. Rate, comment, subscribe. You already know. Laters.